Hey, Zacho, thanks. I should have had that up. Anyway, so let's start over. We were at 2 weeks back from Gen Con. We had some folks that had gotten COVID. We did not. So we were we didn't film last week like we had hoped. But everybody seems to be okay now. And we went to a lot of events, and it was really a great event, a great time. We did more evening events than we normally do. Usually we are just so tired that we don't get to do them. But this time they were part of like the schedule that we had planned, so that we made room and gave ourselves a little bit of break in the afternoon if possible. I think Thursday was the only day that was really terribly busy, and then Saturday was surprisingly busy, but Friday was pretty light, which was good because Deborah was in town. She got in on Thursday for a D&D event, and then did that. So we hung out and had dinner with her. That's correct. And then and we were with our friend Dwight as well. And then the next day we hung out and played some games. And actually, I think we played games that night. And then that next day we played games. We shopped, went to do some things. Nikki and Deborah went to a crafting thing where they were looking at sewing machines, which was cool. And that was really amazing, actually. That's a non-ticketed event that's you can go and work on your costumes or whatever. They had all kinds of accessories on the side that you could use, and you know, like materials, so fabrics and just amazing amount of stuff. It was great, and there was a volunteers showing how to use the sewing machines, so they had a really great time. And then we went to, as I was saying, we went to a D&D event, and they had these, so they had a Horrified D&D event, I'm sorry, that's from Ravensburger, and they had the minis that they painted, that they primed. And so the issue was, I don't know whether it was the paint, I don't know if it was the paint, hold on, let me do one other thing, pop out this chat. I don't know if it was the primer or if it was us putting the minis into I'm gonna go deaf here, or if it was the minis that were, good gosh, how do I do this? Oh, I know. The minis, the paint that they use. So we put them in a bag, and I think something had that caused the paint to soften, and it's now super sticky. So this was Nikki's Displacer Beast, and it was much cooler looking before it got, like, I think paint stuck to it, or I don't know, but we had to strip them. I didn't strip this one, but I stripped my Mimic. I showed that a moment ago. But the minis are actually kind of nice. You know, they're the total flexible plastic, but in priming them, they seem to be okay. I used, you know, I let these dry for a while, and they seem to hold the acrylic primer when I airbrush them on. And so it was a pretty great time. We had a really, we hung out with our friends. Deborah was there. She showed up for a D&D event. I don't know if I've said this with the microphone on. She showed up for a D&D event and arrived on Thursday and left very early Saturday. So we hung out with her on Thursday, played some games, and then hung out on Friday, and then she had to go to that event and then got up very early to go home. So she was just returning from filming the latest Marvel stuff. So this is the first time I've ever used this latex paint that I purchased, latex frisket, excuse me, and I actually bought it for the Marvel United stuff, but they didn't prime these minis because they have this clear post for it to float, right? And wow, this actually does a pretty good job. I've used this stuff before on art. I used to well, I still airbrush stuff, but when I was really airbrushing paintings, I used liquid frisket to do masks. I also used frisket film that I trimmed. But this stuff goes on pretty good, and it is very messy though. The recommendation is clean your brush, not a good brush obviously, and put soap on it, and then wipe it but don't rinse it. And then you can more easily get the latex out, off of the, well, you know, because it gets stuck in the bristles. It's like gum, you know. I mean, I used oil to get it off before cleaning, and it was still okay. So that was because I didn't do as directed. It tells you on the bottle here what you should do. So we'll see how easy this is to clean up. But I mean, it's better than it just being painted. But yeah, I bought them for the Marvel United stuff because there's a bunch of minis in the second wave, and then especially in the third wave, that have transparent pieces. Sometimes blue, sometimes orange, maybe some clear. I don't know if I remember any clear. But it was a good event. The con was good. We had a lot of meetings. We were busy. Thanks for the follow. Snap, finger, click. Hey, I was just snapping my fingers just a minute ago. So yeah, this is the post, you know, it's, and I believe the mini has the clear, hey, thanks for the follow, AC Play 77. I have not actually looked at the minis, I believe. I mean, I did briefly look at them from the game, but I didn't really look at them. We opened them up. We were looking for something, as a matter of fact, because we are going to film the Horrified this weekend. This is not focus. We were hoping to film it last Thursday, but we were nervous about getting people sick because we were feeling fine, but just with the people that had COVID, we didn't want to. We had found out somebody else tested positive just after, it was our friend who came to visit with us, tested positive just after he left, and the next day. So we're like, oh, well, we better, you know, we were with him, so we were like, we better be cautious. And so we were, and we were totally fine, but it just meant that we had to delay filming. Our friend Daryl, who was on the Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship video, who's been a gaming friend forever, and a friend, of course. He wants to be on this episode, so and he already owns the game, and so that hopefully will work out, and we'll film that this weekend, and maybe it'll come out soon. But it's just crazy. So yeah, that actually works pretty good. You can see now it does a reasonable job. It was totally covered with paint, and I probably have a little bit more I can get off, but I don't know that I want to poke at it with the tweezers because it'll probably scrape it more, but that works. I did peel a little bit of paint off here on the bottom, which it's just black anyway underneath there, so I'll just touch that up. Let me do that. As a matter of fact, let's use one of these paints that they gave me. So yeah, it was a really fun event. We got there at 7 for an event that we thought was running 7 to 9, but it was actually 6 to 8. There was a confusion with the invitations. I mean, I got a bunch of invitations for that event, and I couldn't make heads or tails of what was exactly happening with those different invitations, and I'm sure it was timing and stuff like that. So we only got to paint for an hour, which was fine. And Nikki actually did a pretty great job for having an hour as well. And you know, she hasn't painted minis in forever. So she wants to paint this one, so I'm going to let her do that. Hopefully we'll do that today. I was hoping we could have her in here today, but just too many issues with stuff we need to get done. Hey, let's see here. Am I on the YouTube now? No. The YouTubes. Let's go to the channel. Can I? But off of there, let's see. Oops. I always forget the mute. And I don't want you like hearing me be frustrated with stuff. Hey, Cersei. I usually have no, I actually had stuff together pretty early, and then I realized I forgot like the headphones, and I was still cleaning the desk a little bit. There's a lot. I need to prime my newest Salamanders model, but also excited for some Flamecraft duels. Oh, neat. I was hey, there's probably my Nick Murphy. How you doing? So I have to get my painting stream set up so we can. Oh yeah, that's definitely Nick. Nick, I definitely wish you guys were here. But we should have a co-stream. But that latex works. So I bought that latex. It's this stuff here. I bought it at Michael's, and it dries. It's like there are clumps of dried latex inside the bottle. Probably the one that I have 2 bottles. Probably the one that I opened to look at it. But you know, I cleaned it up. It's very thin. It's much like a paint. It's thinner than paint. And you just kind of have to build it up, but it works great. You just have to put a little bit on, and then make sure, you know, kind of let it dry a bit and then put some more. I did spend some crazy money and bought these brushes, which I honestly believe are made by Winsor Newton. I don't know for sure, but I know that Winsor Newton does a lot of contract brushes. They do them for Games Workshop. They do them for other companies. And I think that they probably painted these, made these brushes. They're very nice. I kind of wish I bought some. I did not want to spend the money. This is already 125, and the 9 brush set was probably closer to 200. But I really like them. I've used one of the brushes already. I wanted just 2 number 2s, and then I ended up going for the whole set. But they're really nice. They have. I bought the longer bristle ones. So if you need like Winsor Newton does exactly the same thing. They're really, really good. And so the shorter ones don't have as much of a belly. Let me see. I have some Winsor Newtons they're called the minis, at miniature or whatever. So I think they are the same. Let me see. They're probably right here. Okay. But I really do like, first of all, the paint stream with Byron. I could not remember his name when I was at Gen Con, because I was talking to the guys. I'm like, I really love the channel. I love that you guys do that. And Byron's a great painter. If you want to learn about a lot of stuff he teaches, he does short stuff now that also covers, you know, like a subject. I think, what was the thing I saw him do? Oh, drilling barrels on minis, you know, drilling out the barrels, which it was actually a pretty great one. I learned something new on that one. So this is, wow, look at that. That looks terrible. Now, I've had this brush for a while, but it shouldn't be like that. But you can see how much shorter. Now, this is a 0. Actually, let's just compare the 0 here. And you can get these stateside. There are many retailers that sell them. So you can see, here's the difference between the 2 brushes. These are the longer ones. These are the S series. And I think the other ones are the M series. I did not paint with this one yet. It hasn't been cleaned. But you can see there's a difference. So this one is going to, I mean, you know, it's going to have more resistant to bending. So you can do line work if you want. I do some of that, obviously. But I find that I have no problem with longer brushes as well to do that. So that's why I got the bigger ones. But I honestly feel these are the same. Or close. I'm pretty sure, though, because, as I said, many manufacturers, or many companies have them do their brushes for them. I should actually really clean that. I will not be using these to paint these today. I kind of buy these. I bought these for more like standard painting with standard acrylics where you're doing effects. Now, that doesn't mean I won't do that. I have, let me clean this brush, see what it does here. You know, they put starch in it or something like that when they manufacture the brush. They also come with their own, cleaner. And I have not used this yet. I use the one I use now. This is a grittier. I use the brush cleaner and preserver from the Masters. This feels waxy. You know, it's more soap. I don't know what their formulation is. I also have. I mean, I have lots of companies. I have the Jen's Fantastic from Monument / Pro Acryl, and that one's great stuff too. I like the Masters because the Masters tends to, it has a little bit of a grit to it, and it kind of pulls out paint close to the ferrule, right? Now this brush has not got a problem at all because it's brand new. But you know, one of the reasons why I don't like to use these brushes for the mini painting that I've been doing mostly on the stream here is, you don't want the paint to go into the ferrule, right? And with the contrast paints and the speed paints, they are much thinner and they tend to go to the ferrule. Now, they're not as heavy body, and so they will clean. They do a pretty good job cleaning, so you don't have to worry about it too much. But I tend to use the synthetics. I really do enjoy, love the, actually I think that one, I don't know which is what here. I think that belongs to this one. This is always the terrifying thing, is putting the cover back on. But I think it's worth doing. It protects it, because I mean, this is an extravagance, right? I don't know how much more, if there was extra charge for it. Could have been. I was just like, sure. I'm always crazy when it comes to doing that stuff. But it's interesting that there is very, very similar. Let's see what this size 2 is. These are ones I got from the Kickstarter from Game Envy of the wet palette. I think this is a pretty long bristle too. Maybe longer. Yeah, that's a number 2 as well. Holy cow, let's see how long that one is comparatively. Now, I don't know who made these. Wow, that's got a fat belly too. So these are both number 2s. Number 2s. It's a little longer, but it looks very similar. I mean, who knows? They could have been, it says Kolinsky Sable. That's what these all are. And it could have been, I don't know, the same manufacturer. Probably not, though. I'm sure it's expensive. I don't know how expensive these were. I don't remember. It was an add-on on the Kickstarter, but the brushes are generally in the $20 range, at least right now. And so, you know, you're going to get a little bit of a stiff charge for that, but yeah, I tend not to use these for this type of mini painting. Only really one thing is poking it into the model. You know, it tends to curl the bristles, and the thing is, if you use a natural hair bristle, it's more likely to snap back from that, but I just don't. I've never liked that. Never liked the idea of that. I've always used a synthetic, and these Golden Taklon synthetics are pretty great. Anyway, so I bought those. I bought their little wet. I already have a lot of dry brushes, although I wanted their dry brushes too, but it was expensive. And so I bought their wetting system here. It's literally just a sponge, and Byron tells you how to. I was saying he's great. Tells you he's really great at dry brushing. I mean, he's a phenomenal dry brusher. His flame effect one that he did a video for was just amazing. So you should check him out. It's called Artis Opus is the channel, and he really does a great job explaining the stuff. He's also a pretty mellow painter. And the only one, I watched a video where he did a collaboration with Zumiko, or not Zumiko. I've watched his streams as well, and he's great too. He's a little more crazy, but he's great. And I just thought it was funny because I'm like, it was a very long video to not really get anywhere. So we're gonna try to paint this first, since this is what I painted the last time. It should go a lot better. I did not clean these. I mean, I really don't have the time. We're hoping to film this weekend. And I should have had these done last week, but we were running into all kinds of problems. Who does number 2 work for? Hey, Daryl, how you doing? Let's see here. But yeah, I'm hoping to get these done so that we can film. I mean, it's Tuesday. I should be able to, but I have a lot of other things I need to do this week. I have to get our episode ready and for this week, and I'm not even certain what we're doing. So let me get a reference image for this. There's like, I mean, I have the cover. Let's see what their cover is. I mean, you know, the art is phenomenal on this D&D, Horrified D&D. I'm looking forward to it. Man, there's a lot of pages here. You know what? I'm gonna wing it. So I'm gonna paint the trunk wood color, in quotation marks, wood. Let me grab what I want to use for that color, and that is gonna be this Gorgruntifer. I tend to work inside out. Actually, I really do want to see what the inside of this trunk looks like. I mean, it's a lot of teeth, so I'll paint those white. And maybe it's just this giant tongue, tentacle / tentacle. Let me find out. Yeah. So I did fudge the priming. Like, I put a lot more light on the belly because he's got a pale belly. And I tend to do that. I am kind of disappointed I didn't clean this mini, though. It's got a lot of ridge lines. They're not great miniatures. They look nice, though. Where's my... Oh, you know, I'm not signed in. There you go. How am I not signed in on this? This is the studio PC. Oh, the mimics are tiny in the picture. Look good, though. So that looks like it's just a giant tentacle in there. So I will probably start with like a purple first. So maybe I'll just use this Moonlake Coral that I already have out. It's appropriate. It's almost the color of my can of soda. So we got a theme going here. But I got to tell you, I mean, it's an expense, but I think it'll pay for itself. Airbrushing your primer is just the way to go on this stuff. It really is way better because, you know, rattle can, although rattle can is phenomenal, particularly if you're covering a large part of area. I don't know if it, like I said, I don't know if it was this plastic or was the fact that maybe they primed them that day and then we ended up putting them in bags that night. I don't remember if Nikki's and my mini were in right away, but they probably were. And that could have just killed it too. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how much dry time they allowed. I definitely would, if you're going to use rattle can, you need to give it a lot more time. But the only thing about this paint is it stains this silicone tray. Let's see here. It's coming out there. I did have I watched, I was catching up on videos because I was so busy. And I watched a video from Harder and Steenbeck, and he's pretty great. He's been working on airbrushes and airbrushing for 30 years or something like that, since the 90s or something. I mean, I have too, basically, but not like that. He's a professional. He does repairs and all kinds of stuff, and he's got some great insight. This might actually be too pink. But he's got great insight on like techniques to care for your brush and just techniques for painting. I wonder how much of a miniature painter he is. I mean, I'm not painting off camera here, but he's a super talented and smart and interesting. Now they don't do as much content. They kind of do them in waves, and I feel like they've got all their brushes released right now, so they're doing they're doing more stuff about the different brushes and how to choose. They have 3 main lines, even though there are some offshoots there too. I only have 2 of their airbrushes. I have the older Infinity, and the newer one that I have is the Ultra, which I've shown that was the one from a collaboration with Squidmar, and it's a nice airbrush. I would not buy a black. Wow, it dries so fast. It's dry. It's wet. Very dry here in California. We're getting ready for a heat wave. I do like the airbrushes a lot. I mean, I've been using the Ultra. The Ultra is their base level one. That's still not close enough here. The Ultra is their base level one for, and it really is a pretty cool system. I've talked about it before. It kind of helps you develop good skills. I mean, skills I barely even had, you know what I mean? It's like, I already knew not to try not to let your airbrush trigger start moving paint before the air is going through it, and that's one of the things that they do, that it does kind of automatically for you. You have to press down for the air before you can pull back for the paint on that system, and it's pretty awesome. And then the other thing it does, it automatically cuts off when you let go of the trigger. So it cuts off the paint before, so you don't have splatter. I mean, that's right there. Just if you're going quickly, it's a great idea. I'm trying not to get this on the gold, and I just did, or where the gold will be. So I usually work from the inside out when I paint, meaning I start at the lowest level and then go outward so that I can cover up problems, right? Like, you're trying to get a reasonable line here. So it's basically this giant mouth. It does look like it's, I don't know, it feels like it's going to have like gums all the way around here or whatever. So I'm going to do a little bit of up to the edge here, and then I'll come back and pick the white teeth. But if you work your way inside out, it's hard, but you know, it's much better than trying to go in when you've painted stuff outside of it, because you're going to definitely have to touch up. And that means that you can manage it a little bit better and not mess up previous work generally. That is really the real thrust of trying to do it that way, I feel. I really wanted to actually have everybody on the episode paint a mini, since there are 4, but we couldn't do it. It's just, everybody's so busy. But we did play games this weekend, which was really fun, and hung out with some friends. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to put some. I'll put some lighter elements on there once I get to that point. So yeah, if you clean quickly on these brushes, you know, I tend to clean a lot while I'm working, so it's not like there's a lot of dried up paint, but it is much easier. This is a $2 brush compared to a, I mean, this is a 0. If we compare it to that one, it's bigger than, it's about the same size. So this 0 is pretty great. Now these are, these are great brushes. Saks is a really great brand. They're inexpensive. I mean, maybe it's a little more than $2. I bought like 5 or 6 of them at a time. I can't find them. That's the biggest challenge. It's harder to find than many other brushes. But I found them from a school supply place online. and they're pretty reasonably priced, and you didn't have to prove that you're a teacher, which I couldn't do, even though, hey, I'm teaching you right now, maybe. But it definitely needs some white highlights for make it look wet, and I will probably prime it with a gloss. You know, it would be really gross. So yeah, that's one of the challenges. I mean, I don't even know what is going on with the design on this box. You know what I mean? And it's fun. So it's got some sort of plaque, and it looks like it has studs around it. And these look like so maybe these are metal. So maybe I'll do that. And these are like eyes, right? So I'm not even sure how I'm going to do that, what I want to do for that. But I should paint them as eyes. Wow, I don't think I really noticed that they were all like that. I thought there was just a few up front, but they're all eyes on the lid. All eyes are on the lid. But these will be fun, right? The thing is they're not great minis. I mean, even I have some of the ones from, gosh, where are those at? They should be around here. From the WizKids ones, and they're okay. You know, they're obviously, I don't know how large the Mimic is in that set, but they're scaled much smaller, right? Although these are monsters, right? This is gigantic. This should be a gigantic dragon. I don't know how that compares to as I was saying on the box cover. Let's see, what do they got here? Oh yeah, it's massive. This is a trunk. This is a trunk, and the dragon is huge. Displacer Beast looks pretty awful too. I would really like to get some great. I mean, I have too many minis to paint. So that's that. I don't think I'm gonna need any more of this purple. Let me clean it out of the cup because it is. Here you can see this is the one I used the latex on. It still has latex in it. Now I used a junky brush, and this is a number 1 that is from my what brand is it? Royal Langnickel set. And those are actually not bad brushes. They're real budget. I mean, so scale, this was $2 and let's say 25, 50 cents. This is like 25 cents. No, this one's a terrible one. But some of the ones are really great, and I use them all the time, especially because they're basically disposable. Now, I don't get rid of them until they're really destroyed. So as you can see, I'm going to use this for other things, and I'm trying to keep it usable for the latex. And I will try the next time I paint to actually do what they recommend. But it's pretty great. And it's great that there's a lot of options out there. So the brushes they gave us at the event, which are not out here right now, were not great, but they're not terrible. And they're golden tackle. I mean, they spent a lot of money for us to do that stuff there. I'm glad we went. I'm sad that not more people were there. It was meant to be like people would share their projects on social media, and it was crazy. It's a crazy event, and it was in the gaming hall, which is hall, not H, like D. ABC maybe, I don't know. It's right next door. It connects to it, and that's open later. So the convention hall closes at, I think, 6, and then that's a lot of the focus shifts to that space, and it's throughout the convention center. That's what's great about that convention, is it's just filled with tons of events going on. We actually saw the first, I think we've mentioned this before, that the first thing we ever saw, like, of the scale of the event, right? Because we were always just working in the convention center doing our thing with BGG's live streams, or Nikki working with convention booth with a publisher, because she usually ran those. And then we were all tired by the end of the day, so we'd go back. But one time, maybe a year or two into going, we decided to look around, and we walked into this ballroom that was massive, as big as the ballrooms that we have for BGG, the main ballroom. We have several ballrooms with most of our conventions, but the main ballroom was bigger than that, and it was filled with people playing Pathfinder. It was amazing. And there's just stuff everywhere. All the hotels are involved. That was the challenge. So this year it's very far when you go through the convention center. There's like a way to take, it wasn't that crazy hot, but we still took mostly they have these bridges that connect the buildings, and you can go through the convention center, then go through a bridge to another hotel, then to another hotel, through another, generally a bridge. And they're enclosed and they have air conditioning, so it was pretty nice. But we had to go to the JW, and the JW has construction going on, so a lot of their space was lost. And so then we had to go even further for one of the events that we did. For a neat game. It was pretty awesome. Hey, Tantalorus. Tantoralus. There we go. Let me get that right. Hey, Jeff Stahl. I haven't seen Jeff in a long time. Jeff's a game designer. And we played his games. So, I definitely use these. These are from GW. They're not easy to find, but I don't think they're gone. I hope not. But they're great stands so that you don't make a terrible mess. Oh, I didn't go through everything I bought. So I bought those brushes. I also visited the Turbo Dork booth and bought some of their paints to try. I wanted the color shifting ones, so I bought 3 different ones of those. This one that shows it as being purple, but look at it. But the thing is, I think it has to go on a black primer. These other 2, this Afterburner kind of looked, it had more of a red tint to it at some point there. And then there's this Hemogoblin, which was, Nikki said, was low-key. So I'm like, okay, we can get those. I wanted the whole set, but they'd already sold out of that one. I don't know if it was the whole set, but it was like 7 of them or something. Let's see here. I need to thin this out, and I'm going to need contrast medium. I'm getting to the end of this bottle. How much do I have here? Oof. I don't think that lid is... This is the one thing I do not like about these paints, man. I mean, if you get it mostly on, it does okay, but if you can spill it and stuff, I don't know. I need more. Well, I don't need more yet. I'm trying not to... That's the one thing. It's fun to buy paints, but you really should only buy what you need. I have way more paints than I need. And it was nice of Ravensburger to give us those paints. I mean, it was great. It's, 15 bottles of that paint, which is not inexpensive. We probably could have taken more bottles, but it wasn't worth it. So now I have to decide here. We really didn't need it. So I have to decide here whether I want to cover the whole wooden portion of this trunk, and then come back and highlight the eyes to, put white paint on them to do that, or go with this. Now, here's the deal. This priming job did not take into account, I can't do that. I'm not that good of an airbrusher, and I don't know that it would be easy to do. But I'm probably going to come back and paint them. It's going to be quicker that way. So let's just see how this goes. Is it going to be dark? Yeah, it's going to be good. And I do need to move quickly. I was really hopeful I could use the ones that we painted at the event for the episode. And I don't think we're even going to use all of them in the episode. I think the one that we were talking about doing only uses 2, so. So this brush is forking right now. Splitting at the end. Now I could be sloppier because I'm going to paint the gold on the, and I'll probably use the, wow, that dried pretty quickly. I'm going to be using the speed paint metallics. I really like those speed paint metallics. They're great. And you can touch up. It's one of the things that people get worried about with contrast and speed paints is that, you know, you can't, once you mess up something, it's hard to fix it. Well, it's not that hard. Yes, it's going to be difficult if you're fixing something that is that you've put color down already and then you mess up the color on that. That's why I work in, like I said, inside out. But you don't have to really worry about it if you work like I'm doing, where I'm trying not to get it on the stuff. So I'm painting what I know that needs to be this brown, and then I will paint what I know that needs to be the gray. Well, I mean the metallic. But the thing is you just put some gray down, try to get it as close as you can to the color that is there, and then paint over that. It's almost going to be, I mean, the way these paints work is they're a little splotchy, sort of, you know, I mean, that's the nature of speed paints, contrast paints, sort of. I mean, you can get pretty great results just depending on what you're doing. But if you're painting something small, like I'm working large area to small area, you're never going to notice that shift in tone. It's going to be so subtle if you don't have it exact. Now, again, if you can get it close, and I'm doing a pretty good job here, you know, not getting it onto that, so I should be okay. I'm actually not doing a great job getting up to the edge of it here completely. But, you know, none of this stuff is for competition. I'm not a competition painter. I'm not that good. I don't have that much patience. I mean, I would love to have that much patience. I'd love to have that much time, but I just don't. I mean, I can do pretty decent stuff. I mean, competition stuff is so beyond my skill range now. I mean, it's ridiculously great. It's one of the things I'm sad about not going to, probably one of the biggest things I'm sad about not going to Spiel this year is the Golden Demon. Holy cow. We saw such great paint jobs. So there you go. I messed something up. You're going to get to see me try to fix it. Actually, it may not matter. This is gold on top of brown. You know, it's gold paint or brass or whatever I'm going to do here on top of this brown. It may not even be a big problem. But yeah, so we had been to a Golden Demon event 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, Nikki and I, and well, I mean, it was amazing then. And you know, the way minis go nowadays, there's a lot of like fully sculpting new stuff for these events, and which is incredible. But it's now crazy, like just so fantastic. I can't even. I mean, we have some folks that we talk to at Games Workshop, and I'm like, I don't even understand how they can judge this, because the quality is incredible, and you know, they have like I don't know what they call it. It's young bloods on some other events, young painters that are, you know, basically probably entering to a competition for the first time, and their skills are astronomically fantastic. And so, you know, they have to like look for problems to be able to determine what. I guess I'm going to do this on all this, and that's just crazy. Now, I don't know that the folks can. I don't think they can talk to the judges at Golden Demon, but if you enter other competitions, folks will give you feedback. You know, some of the judges will give you feedback on what you can do to improve, and that sounds fantastic. That was another thing they actually had. So I think it was sort of Army Painter that ran the painting stuff at Gen Con previously, but this year it was run by Games Workshop, and they had people teaching you. It was amazing. Like, I would have loved to have had the time to just go and talk to somebody who's a really great painter so they had like I do not know what the cost was for any of this stuff. I couldn't even bother to ask because it didn't matter. Wasn't going to be able to do it. But I should have asked, because I would love to be able to have the time to do that. I know that some of the folks that I watch on YouTube do painting classes, not only through their Patreons, but they also do them live at some of the events. And that's just great. Now, they really do impart a lot of wisdom and skill improvement ideas on their YouTube channels. It's pretty great, but just to actually have somebody looking at what you're doing and giving you some feedback would be amazing. It's now filling up with water. I should look up and see which ones we're going to use for the episode and make sure those are done, but I would really like them to all be painted. It's only 4 minis. Come on, I should be able to do this. I'm picturing the judges wearing jewelers' monocles. I couldn't doubt it. Now, we're not coming to Spiel. I was actually taken off. I had a little bit of a sad moment this morning. I saw... I got a notification on our Slack that I was taken out of the group for the Spiel 2025. I was like, oh, it's a bummer. I mean, we still want to go. We really have to, like, it's expensive. All of this is expensive, and the real priority, I mean, there'll be people there that will hopefully be able to market what we do as well. But our main priority is actually getting games for the library. And, you know, Nikki and I participate in that too, but we just don't have as much. We're meeting with people the whole time. Our first 2 days are usually just full. We met with some of those folks at Gen Con. It was great. But there's many, many more that we normally meet with that we won't get to meet with. So, you know, it really, you have to take all of that into consideration for the costs. And we also really love that event. The only time I've ever missed it was, so they didn't have one in the pandemic year, 2020, but they had one in 2021. And a lot of publishers are like, yeah, we're not even going to have representatives there. You know what I mean? Like people that we would need to meet with. But we also I had just gone to Gen Con for the first time, and it was a crazy event. And I kind of I was like, I've taken a lot of chances. I'm going to skip it this year. And that was a bummer. This year, you know, we have, first of all, it's just an opportunity to see folks in Europe and actually from around the globe and meet with them, or just see them. And that not happening is sad. But we also are both dealing with our parents. My mom, every time I talk to her, she's like, you know, well, I hope you call, you know what I mean? So every day, because I call her every day, we generally see her on the weekend. But I just need to check on her. I mean, not that it's going to solve a problem if I check in with her at the end of the day and she's had a problem, but I just need to know that everything's okay. And so, and it's, you know, it's challenging calling from Europe, but we make it work. We used to use Skype. Don't use that anymore. We had somebody European joke with me about using Skype. I'm like, yep, it's gone. Thanks for the follow, you know. But yeah, it is going to be a bummer. We definitely love going, and it is. I had been going since 2009, and it was, you know, we were streaming. That was the main thing that we did at the time, and it was decided it just wasn't worth it for us. The audience was kind of dwindling for that, and you know, there's still people. I mean, I have people every year we were doing it. You guys not streaming? No, we're not. And they were sad because that's really, I mean, I would love it too, with me being at home this year, to just see some of the stuff that's happening. And I'm sure there's some streaming going on. I think Spiel is the folks that are running some stuff with that. But it's not the same as what we did. We were actually trying to get as many of the publishers that would be, you know, we focused on new games that people were excited to see, but we also just lots of publishers. Some of the videos that we did over the years, the only videos out there for that game are ones that we did. Now, the benefit of that as far as educational is limited, but on some of those we had some great, you know, part of the problem is it's somebody who doesn't really know the game. I mean, Nikki got stuck one time coming on the stream about something she just was taught, and you know, that's just hard. I can't even imagine how much of a hassle that is, and terrifying, you know. And I felt bad for her. Like, ugh, you know, what can you do? But maybe the person that was going to be there couldn't make it, and that happens all of the time. Either they don't get there, or they're stuck in a meeting, or something, and so it's challenging. The wood actually looks pretty great right now. We'll let that dry. Those eyes are spooky. Anyway, so yeah, it was, I cleaned that and I actually kind of wanted to make that line more, it's a pretty bad line there, but I want it to be less gold and more like that's part of the trunk. I mean, it's all part of the trunk, but part of the wood. Or the perceived wood. I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. Nikki has had the opportunity. She used to work for a couple animation companies, one of which was John Kay, who did Ren and Stimpy, and she had an opportunity to go to do that, and she didn't go. I don't know what the deal was. This is such a tiny miniature. Maybe I ought to get it on a mount. The problem is I think this glue is getting tired. I mean, it's not glue. It is sort of, but it's a putty that, gosh, it feels sticky, but I couldn't get it to stick the other day. And I've never, you know, like we talked to Deborah about it. She's just not a big crowd fan like that, and she usually goes for a day. Her husband will go for maybe multiple days, but she just goes in. She just wants to be in and out. She doesn't want to. It's just too crazy, right? She's super nice and real friendly with everybody. It's just I mean, it's hard, right? The noise factor. Like, we are just happy to get out of the space. Wow, this is so soft. No wonder that doesn't stick. Wow. It's as soft as plastic. Well, we'll do our best here. So I'm going to paint this as a wooden floor, but I probably am going to go for something different here, because it has planks and it looks like it's got gold coins, right, to draw you in. Well, let us do one of the, oh, these guys got it here. Did I put the brown back? Oh no, I used the contrast paint. I didn't put the pink back. It already looks pretty great. So, let's use a little bit of, I'll do that later. Get carried away here. But yeah, I've never been. And I actually watched some streamers from there this year and was like, wow, I don't know that I could handle it. it really seems like a crazy amount of folks. Wow, I don't know what color I want to use here. I'm probably going to try this hardened leather. I do like going to all of them. So the only time I ever really freaked out was, well, so there at Spiel in Essen, there was a space that was the kids' alley. Like, they had all kinds of really fun things for kids to do. And then it was just jam-packed with people getting through there. And it was kind of terrifying. And I wasn't really worried about myself, but I was worried about others, particularly the kids. Like, if there were any problem, I mean, they actually had they did a math trade, I think, or virtual flea market or something like that, that, you know, was run through our site. But they had it at the one end of the event, and it was super scary, and they got mad at us. And, you know, we don't really have any control over that. You know, it's a community, right? People can talk about whatever they want there, and organize their stuff. You know, we got in there and couldn't move. It was really kind of scary. And so that was one time. And then at Gen Con in 2021, my first big con back, it was very scary. Like, I got into an intersection and there was just no movement. And you know, that was just, I think, me freaking out from not being around people so much for a while. And I was like, wow, I don't want to do that. And that was really the main reason why I decided not to go to Spiel that year. Was just I wasn't ready for all that. And you know, Spiel is worse. There's many areas you just can't move through. And you know, they don't want people to carry backpacks on their back. I mean, I've gotten hit in the face with those things. And, you know, they don't even realize it. You know, they're not being mean. It's just they've got this huge thing on your back. And so I need to use this. I don't know if you just saw me do that, but I don't have this out often enough. I've just made this little tool out of this phony brush handle that comes with these Royal and Langnickel. But I just drilled a pin vise hole in it and put a piece of paper clip. But you need to do this on the well, first of all, look how easy that cap comes out. It's one of the things I don't like about these bottles. And I like these bottles more than I like the Games Workshop Citadel color ones. You can, I mean, that may be why I squirted. One time on a stream, I was putting in some contrast medium, and I did not use a tool like this, which I didn't have it at the time. It squirted out a whole bunch of the contrast medium onto this wet palette. And I was able to use a bunch of it because it was like, well, it's in there, might as well use it. I'm trying to get the dry stuff out of here. Although it doesn't matter, I don't generally airbrush with the contrast paints too much. It's best to try to get any dry paint off the nozzle so that you don't get it into your airbrush. You don't want chunks of paint, dried paint in your airbrush. Wow, that's a lot. It's not a good lid. I don't understand why, because some of the other ones do a better job, but maybe just because maybe I'm not tightening it enough. Doesn't seem like you can tighten it too much though. But yeah, you should have one of these, something to poke those out before you start squirting, because the smallest amount can clog it. So I put the stuff in there, but I did not mix it. Wow, that color looks almost the same. Let's just see here. Needs to be lighter. I mean, it does look like it's on planks. So I don't mind a little bit of difference in tone there between the two browns, because, you know, in the brown that I'm painting on the floor here, because wood, you know, wood is not consistent. one of the nicest things about wood is how varying it can be. You went 2018 and 2024? Who's a celebrity? Are you talking about Deborah? Oh yeah. She's also, I mean, she likes, Gen Con is more her kind of a convention because of course she's into D&D. So there's a ton of, you know, actually interesting stuff for her to see. She was great. Her first year, I don't know if it was her first year there. Maybe. That's too light now. People asked her to take photos of Nikki and I, and they didn't recognize her. I mean, she was wearing a mask, but it was pretty funny. But people recognized her. People recognized her with the mask even at times, so it was pretty awesome. And you know, folks know that she's on the show, so when they saw us and then they saw her, they're like, oh. It was pretty great. We actually went to the stadium on Friday to go try to eat something because there's a whole bunch, the food trucks are all basically down there now, and we ended up going into the stadium, and so we just sat. It was awesome, just chill. Wow, I don't know what's going on here. I will actually probably put another wash on top of this. But we had some folks come up to talk to us and to her. It was pretty cool. Wow, there's a lot of paint that I'm not going to need, but I will probably do more than one coat here. So usually, it's kind of nice to actually, I probably still have air in there, or do I? Nope, it completely drains. It's so crazy how the air compressor will slowly leak as it sits here. Because it seems pretty tight, but, you know, snug on everything, but obviously not completely. I did go to Spiel last year. It was better, but it wasn't great. It's, you know, it's expensive to go there. It's expensive for the hotels. We were at a different hotel this last year. It was great. I hope they do it again this year, because not only was it, I mean, I don't know what they charged us for the breakfast, but they had a very good breakfast. They were less expensive for the hotel. It wasn't far away. It was near the main train station, so you could take the U-Bahn to get to the convention center. But they also had passes for the rails. So during the event, you had a pass that you could use to take the trains for the entirety of the event. They used to do, I can't remember, I don't know if it was true that you didn't charge during the event or something like that, but probably not true, I don't know. Oh, this does not look like wood grain. Maybe that's stone. You know what? That is probably stone, not wood. Harumph, I say. I misread that. It really does look like it's stone, or, you know, pavers or whatever. So maybe I'll put a dark wash on there. I don't know if I have a great one. Let me look. Wow, I wish I'd looked at that a little more carefully. I have a bunch of the shades. Oh, I've got Nuln oil. The new Nuln oil. Let's try that once it's dry. I'm staying in Düsseldorf and have the German train ticket to use the regional trains and the U-Bahn. Yeah, Düsseldorf's far though. There is some towns that are immediately adjacent that are not too expensive. I'm bummed we're not going. No matter how I look at it, I would like to be there, but we don't. At the same time, we've done it every year, and it's not easy. It's a long flight, and we would additionally like to see our friends Annie and Sebastian, but we've seen them a lot. We went in 2022. We went twice to Germany that year. Which is, uncommon for us for sure. The only downer was they were kind of close to each other. We went in August for Annie's birthday and to go see a concert that we had planned to go in 2020 that kept getting delayed. And she's like, "Are you guys going to come?" And we're coming. And so we also did some tourist stuff, which was really great. And they've got a daughter who I think she's going to be 3 this year. No, she just turned 2 a couple months back. So I have it in my head that she is 3. I don't know why, but she was definitely not born when we visited in 2022. So I'll just remember that. Since I tend to remember all the other dates, I'll remember her age. But she's way great. And then we'd love to visit Christoph. He's actually come here several times in the past few months. And we want to go to Cologne to just hang out with him and do some sightseeing and stuff. And we'll do that eventually. But, we've been to Cologne, but we've never actually hung out with Christoph in Cologne. He's come to visit Annie and Sebastian while we're there. Let's see what this looks like. I'm really sad I didn't catch that. Probably painting too soon. Eager to correct it. But I will tell you, I'm relishing the idea of being home for a little while. So our next trip is to BGG Con in November, which I am looking forward to a lot. And so we don't travel for almost 3 months, which is a complete rarity for sure in the last few years especially. Yeah, it's stone. They don't have to be gray. It could be brown, blackish brown stones. So I'm going to do a little bit of, I think, fluorescent. I still should wait on it until everything's really kind of dry. So I was talking about making that go to the edge. I should have done the same thing on this purple here because the way this trunk is, it's got some weird edges here and it probably should come to the edge of the trunk. Now, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it mimics our beasts, I guess, essentially. So do they follow the definition of what the trunk is to the specifics? I don't know. The appearance. Went to the edge. Thankfully, nobody I know got really, really sick from the at the convention. Deborah was just worried about. She had gone 2 years ago and got sick and thought it was COVID, and it was not. But she got really sick, and that's another thing that she doesn't really love, is just the getting sick at these events. Although she did that D&D event and didn't have any problems, which is great, because I think she got sick from that event probably 2 years ago. It was actually multiple events. She had a we didn't get to actually hang out with her as much as we did the previous time because she was busy with those. There was like 3 or 4 events of that. Try to get this to dry. That's really wet. I wonder why that went on so wet. Gelling up too. See, I don't know. I'm not a. So I feel like these. This is a shade. Is that right? Is it a shade? Yes. And I don't. They've kind of. They kind of should be inkier. They don't do inks anymore. And I don't remember what the old. I mean, I have it. I should try the old Known Oil. I don't remember it being like this. And if you use the, I don't feel that they have, I guess you could use probably one of the mediums, but I don't think you use the contrast medium, because then you're going to get exactly what I'm trying to avoid here. I just cleaned it up, see how it goes. Because it's going to be too dark. I gotta do Amanda's schedule today. What is our preferred airlines? Well, I don't know. We really liked Southwest for a long time there, and I did not like it at first, but because we fly to Dallas so much, it actually worked out to be pretty great. And then, their changes. I just don't understand it. It seems more expensive, so I'm not against using it, but we haven't used it the last 2 times we've flown. When we went to Dallas. Maybe we flew in November, in May, because I think that was the end of all that stuff and I booked a ticket. So I might have booked that via Southwest. But we did not go when we went to Gen Con. We flew American, and American's fine, but I will tell you, American, we've had way more delays with American than any other airline lately, because we flew, when Nikki and I went back east, we flew American. So I don't know anymore. I'm not ecstatic about any of these airlines. And I've had problems. I've had problems with United, I've had problems with Delta. So I'm trying to put some gray down. Now the issue is, when I do this, I have to let it dry. You have to let it dry quite a while, because it will reactivate and just make a mess. Now, I am putting it on a gold on it, so it won't be as awful probably, but They had, we didn't actually get to do that. We went to the stadium and intended to go look for, they had 4 or 5 Stern D&D machines on free play. And I wish I went because it was, the first was Pinball Day, National Pinball Day or something like that, which I didn't know about. And they had a badge for that. We just ran out of time because Deborah had to go to her, she wanted to get there because it was a 5 o'clock thing, I think. So we were getting there just after 4. So we didn't see that, you know, which would have been cool. But they have like the Pinball Alley on that. There's a whole walkway between the main convention center and the stadium. And a ton of machines. Those, but we didn't get to that. So I'm doing that because I'm going to try to put another color on top of it, which you don't need to even worry about. I'm trying to speed it up maybe. So it looks like we can do the eyes now. And I don't know what their eyes are. I don't know if they're just yellow. I do have a yellow that I just got in that set, which I mean, like a good chunk of these paints are exactly this. So the neat thing about these paints, yeah, this is demonic yellow. They don't necessarily look 100% the same, but they're close. They are supposed to be the same because they are the War Paints Fanatic paints. One of the neat things about the Army Painter sets, though, is that they are designed to not have much overlap. So if you buy the basic starter set, then you buy like, I think this was 50 paints. So then you buy the mega set. There, maybe black and white will overlap, but you could get the bulk of the paints by buying each successive paint. Now I don't, even the 50 is probably too much. I probably shouldn't have done it. But I do appreciate that they do sets and they are trying to make them not repeat too much. And you know, black and white you're gonna use a lot of, so if that's the case, then that's good. Now there might be different blacks. I'm certain there probably are different blacks. I wonder if I thought I had a color scale. Actually, I think it's the other one. I might have the, I would like to get that actually now that I think about it. Okay, so let's try doing a little bit of yellow and we'll do some trickery maybe on it. We'll see how, now yellow's not very opaque. Thanks for the follow, Phantomax. Is that right, Phantomax? Yep. Yeah, yellow's does not have great coverage. So it's gonna require probably multiple coats. Now part of the goal here is I'm gonna probably try to, I may paint these with some gloss as well since they're eyes. Yeah, it needs more water, needs water for sure. But these paints are pretty good. I mean, I was watching something recently and they were talking about how the quality of things has all changed. And the reality is that most paints are pretty great. You don't have to, it used to be that, like I never bought any Army, it's not true. I bought very little Army Painter paints because they just weren't very good. And they have really stepped it up and changed their formulation and still, you know, every paint has some holes or something that is not perfect about them, but they're pretty great. And here's the thing about the Army Painter. That and Citadel, those paints are like at most stores. Like I would wish there was Duncan Rhodes available. I mean, there are at They are at Geeky Tees here in Burbank, and that would be great. But I don't think they have all of them. We went to one store, they actually had, I believe, all the waves that are available to retail for the most part. And that might have been, I'm thinking it was, that might have been, Common Ground in Dallas. I mean, they generally have a pretty great selection of paints. They have a lot of the Monument Hobby paints, the Pro Acryl. They have, of course, probably the full range of Games Workshop. They have a pretty heavy set of the Army Painter and the Speed paints. They might have even had more. They had Turbo Dork, which is pretty great. Like, to have a location that has that many options. Because, you know, I actually have always bought from multiple manufacturers. I like something in multiple ranges. So one of the things that these guys seem to be doing, Army Painter, is to make the coverage better, they put more white into the paint, which is okay. For me, it tends to make it not as bright as I would like. I had a test I'd done between two reds, the Army Painter red and then the bold Pyrrole red from, you know, they're not necessarily the same color, but from Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl, and it was not the same. You know, if you didn't have them to compare, they probably are close enough, truthfully. But in seeing them, I preferred the red from the Army Pro Acryl. It was this red, which looks pretty red, but when you put it on, it looks a little bit more orangish, maybe. Where is that? It was a miniature that I painted the cloak of the two. It was like but gosh darn it. I wish I'd saved that, because it really was interesting. You could see a slight difference. Again, now if you didn't have them next to each other, you probably wouldn't even know the difference. Crazy. I was thinking about it. We really haven't been that home that much this summer. Cool. Not really certain what you do on their eyes. They look like they're kind of, you know, little slits. Maybe. I mean, the beholders have kind of a similar thing going on there too, so I kind of don't want them to look the same. Let me see here if I can use this paint to touch up my mistakes here. Okay. So I use this purple, actually these same two purples, and the fluorescent to do these highlights on this cloak, and I really liked it, so I'm going to try to do a little bit of that on this, but I've done something to try to accelerate the application. It's probably not going to be great. Oh, okay, what stadium am I on? So I'm talking about Gen Con. They have the Colts Stadium there, and it's right adjacent to the convention center, and so they have a path that leads to that, you know, an underground tunnel, partly underground. Actually, it might be all on that one. I can't remember. No, it goes in, then it drops down, and then you go into the, once you get into the stadium. There was actually, it was neat because I had forgotten all about it. Nikki's like, oh, there's all these great vendors in here. And so they had a bunch of vendors right at the stadium portion there. That was pretty great. And, gosh darn it, I need clean water. It's cool. I mean, it makes, they added that in 2016, I think, maybe, extended the convention to that space when it was their anniversary. That was awesome. The only downer is I don't love the food trucks down there. It's not a problem, really, but it is a little far, and but there is tables down there now, so it's pretty good. So as you add this color, you have to keep letting it sit before you put any more on, because you're going to layer it up, keep building up the fluorescent pink. And what it will do is it'll make this a brighter, and it's already done a pretty good, the white underneath it did a pretty good job of ramping it up a little quicker. Now I'm thinking I should put some on the eyes, because the eyes have it. Well, let's see here. Part of the problem is this is not great. It's, you know, I thinned the paint out a little bit to actually have a better application, and the end result is not wonderful. Deborah said she had somebody give her a great paint set, a paintbrush set. I'm like, ooh, she does not paint, but she should. I think everybody should paint. It's pretty great. Okay. We'll let that dry. Doesn't have to dry too long, but it does need to dry. And it looks pretty great wet, so I think that it should be a gloss tongue. That'd be cool. Or a tentacle, probably. Okay, so let's get some of the yellow here. I've not used this one to do this kind of trick yet. What do they call it? Lucas Oil Stadium is the name of that stadium. It's where the Colts play. It's amazing though, because you have a bunch of events on the floor, and it's surprisingly quiet when you're on the bottom floor. Now, you don't have a stadium of people screaming, but I think it's designed to reduce it somewhat. And it is just close to silent. We actually, in 2016, they asked us to move our hot games room to the stadium, but it was just too far for everybody to try, you know, because we didn't have everybody in that hotel where we had our event, and you would absolutely not have enough people in that hotel. Oh, I bet you I haven't. No, it's coming out. Wow, that is bright. And so, you know, it's tough to get around, especially because the hot games room stays open until midnight. So it wouldn't be fun for some folks to get there. Because there's not any hotels really close. There's one that's pretty close. I mean, it's close. It's 2 blocks away, but it's not ideal. I think that I honestly feel that this is not used in the game we were talking about playing on this, so I'm a little bummed here. Putting a lot of effort into this, and it's not going to be necessarily even. I mean, again, it'd be fun to have it be seen. Okay, so I'm going to do some gold now. Let's see what the floor looks like. Floor looks pretty good, actually. It looks kind of appropriate. Where are the metallics? There they are. Now this is a bronze. It's gonna. I wonder if it's gonna look different than the gold. Gaming Rules GridCon, nice. Say hi to Paul for us. How many games left for September? I was trying to get some pre-releases. Ah. James, your Friday and Saturday streams are, you know, I feel this. I mean, what are you going to do? I think you have the right idea. It's just that they're. I think weekend streams, I don't know. Fridays, we've done Fridays before. During like Halloween and stuff like that, we would do the Fridays, and I'm just not sure how effective that is. But I do appreciate that you're trying to do something, and you're also, you know, lining up with where we aren't, you know, which is, there's enough people. Wednesdays are just bad. Everybody wants to stream on Wednesday. And so I'm trying to squeeze people in. Oh yeah, this is going to be a different color. It's a very dark now. So that's the same metallic flakes, the mica probably. Wow, okay, that's a very different color. Ooh, that might be too coppery. Yeah, it's not going to be visible. I think I need to go with the gold. So there's the paint. And it's very close in tone to the... I mean, I can use it to do some tricks with it, but I think it's too dark. Which is unfortunate. There's a different bronze, but that's coppery as well. Golden armor, let's try that one. So I'll probably come back over it with like a brighter color anyway, a real... Yeah, but Gen Con's amazing. So we met with the person that runs Spiel, and I was asking her, you know, like, and she loves the fact that the stadium, you know, that the places are open late and there's open gaming, and but you know, Essen's just not built for that, at least at this point in time. And but I was knocked out that they didn't see the opportunities to make more money at that event, because Gen Con really has been doing it for a long time, and they have tons of apparel and just all kinds of things that you can do, and then they make money from, you know, for example, we do the Hot Games Room. We have to charge, I think, a minimum of $2, and you know, that's because they're organizing that space and all that stuff. So I'm not sure what that cost them, but you know, we actually had, it was pretty busy. The whole event, we were going in there, and it was wow, this is not a very good gold either. This is golden armor. Do they have another gold on here? Oh, there might be honey gold. That might be one. Ugh, I'm not liking all these colors here. Horde bronze. Oh, glittering gold. They missed it here. Should have done that one. Oh, you're not nickel and dime. I don't know. I mean, yes, for the events, James, but at least in our experience, you pay a lot more money for even with the price is probably elevated at Gen Con. It's way expensive. Now, the hotels are tremendously expensive at Gen Con if you go to any of the ones that are, you know, it's like $200 or $300 a night, but it's not cheap at Spiel either. We used to stay at the Atlantic Congress, which was right adjacent to the convention center, and it was expensive, really expensive. Oh, that's golder. Cool, okay, well those two colors will do it. Well, 3 colors, I got 3 colors of gold, or metallics. Wow, I don't know what's going on with the getting notifications here left and right. Horde, what was, I thought it was like a honey gold, but I could be wrong. Talos bronze, Horde bronze, golden armor, glittering gold. Guess not. What was the honey? Oh, you know, it's that yellow. No, that's it. That's ancient honey. Who knows? Oh, you know what? Is it one of these? No. Dwarf gold, greedy gold. Who knows? Okay. And I would say that you will see Essen change. And it was run by a family. The lady that ran it and then sold it retired. Her father started that event, and she worked there the whole time, I believe, from the beginning. And you know, it was not cheap from the publisher's side. You know, the booth space was very expensive. As it is at most of these events, they're getting it from the convention center, the space, so it's not cheap. And but now it's a corporation that runs many. I mean, it was a corporation, I'm sure, before, but that runs many events. They actually run Nuremberg, and that's not the only toy fair that they run. It's not the only toy fair that they own. There's others across the globe that they own, and you know, their goal is to make money. So I think you're going to see more things like that. I mean, you know, Spiel doesn't, Gen Con doesn't charge you to go to the, it's in the cost. It doesn't cost you more to go to the convention center, and that's like, you know, to do the convention itself, you know, to visit the vendors. But man, I'm making a mess. But with the increased costs of everything nowadays, I think we're going to see many, many more charges, and plus it's just going to be expensive in general. But one of the benefits is, you know, you're not going to pay those tariffs if you live in the United States. Getting this, I mean, maybe bringing it back home. I don't know. I have no idea of any of that yet. I hope it all works out for everybody. It's not great. Boy, I'm doing a terrible job here. Actually, that should be a different color, because it's not going to be a gold block, I don't think, although it's probably magical. This is a contrast paint, or speed paint, excuse me. So it does allow some of the shading to come through, but you know, I don't have any extreme shading going on underneath this. I do really like this paint though. I wonder if Games Workshop will try to do that as well. It does cover though way more than any of the other paints, contrast speed paints, excuse me. Because you know it's got this metallic pigment, so. Today only tickets, is that what they have New York City Toy Fair too? Wow. I think it's Carol that you're talking about, James. Carol Rapp. So they don't have like a full, you get the whole event ticket at Spiel. It's interesting. I don't know how that is beneficial, but maybe it's a tracking thing. I mean, they all track it differently. Now, I mean, admittedly, I prefer Spiel as far as conventions go for buying games. There's just more publishers there. I mean, in the case of some of those publishers, they have their own, you know, like Asmodee groups, they have their own booth inside of like the other booth. There is still some of that at Gen Con. I mean, Atomic Mass has its own space, but GameGenic, you know, they have a fantastic, massive thing they had a really nice booth actually at, you know, portion of the booth at the Asmodee section there at Gen Con, but the one at Spiel is always more amazing. Hmm. Okay. Was that, James, are you saying that Gen Con didn't allow you to have that attend it? I mean, you know, that's, I don't know. The whole thing is, Making a mess here. Okay. Ugh, so much gold. Oh. Yeah, I don't know how it works with Spiel. I mean, we've done some press stuff. Mostly Nikki and I are, we're just doing meetings. We do some stuff on, we don't go to the press. Oh, we did go to the press event this last year. It was actually pretty good. And I say we don't go, but we had gone before too. We went to, I think the year before, we went to the old location of the press event, which was fine, a lot tighter. This new location was better, but I felt like, I don't remember if I'm correct or not, because Nikki was, worked those events, but. The new one is up for only a short time. In the old one, I think it would be up for a couple days. And maybe it was up for a couple days this last year. I don't know, but it was pretty cool. Okay, well, there's definitely some brown there. Is this Gorgrunta? Yeah. Just gonna try to touch up some of this overly strong gold here. Oof, I totally got it on there. That's bad. Didn't even notice it. That might need a little bit of gray to cover that up. Okay. Okay, so a red, not a red, an orange, maybe. Might be too dark, but that looks pretty good. So I want to put this into the eye thingies, but I guess I've never opened that one. It might be a little dark. Probably should have gone with this one. Let me see what it looks like. It says it's a yellow, but it'll be okay, because I'm going to go back over it with some of the yellow. Okay. It's really kind of getting there. That looks pretty good. No rain. Rain is seriously, you don't get enough of that here. We are going to have a hot spell here, I guess. Well, it's not crazy in here right now, so maybe we aren't there yet. Let's see what's the forecast. Oof, I got to get actually done here. I will end it at 1 here. Might as well wrap it up. But there you go. That's pretty good. There's more to it. I want to put the gloss on. I'll probably do something more with the trunks, eyes on the trunk. I don't know. Maybe a little bit more just yellow on top. I just wanted some dimensionality to that, to them, and I didn't want just the yellow. And I think that orange, it's not a bad orange, and with the yellow on top of it, it makes it more orange. Cool. I got to do the teeth. I actually do a little bit of teeth here. I got a few minutes. Got to do some teeth. So I have this. I really like this paint, but it's kind of, I mean, it's a white, so it's chalky. But I airbrushed with it and was just blown away. But we shall see here. Poke this. I haven't opened it up for a little while. I guess the music ended? Weird. Very strange. We need those eyes to glow. Well, that's what the fluorescent was to do. So I will probably put a little bit more of that on there. The fluorescent is not the same as that purple. I mean, the purple one is the first one, or is it pink? What did I do? Fluorescent purple? Yeah. It's the first one I used to do this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. And the red, I know red works well, but we'll see. Okay. I don't think they made the teeth large enough on this mini. Ugh, got it on the gold. Probably need a little bit of water. So this is paint I would normally put on a wet palette. It really helps. Now I'm not getting anything going down. Try to make these like longer teeth here. There's big gaps in them and stuff, so I don't know here. I want them to be more terrifying here. The ones on the top though are definitely not big. I think I just need to fake a couple in here because he's got getting on the gold. Keep doing it. Let's touch that up with some gold too. Want some more teeth in there. Put one in here, it's not really there. That's okay. It's crowded on that side, but it's more teeth. Oh wow, Dice Tower West. We've still never been. We will be streaming a board game stream. Nikki and I should be streaming on Thursday. I was supposed to be painting last Thursday, but we ended up being busy with other stuff, which is a bummer because I'm not painting enough. I really have much stuff to paint. That's pretty good. I wonder. I feel like there's more. There should be more teeth up front. Let's see if I can fake a few more in there. It looks like there might be a few here. I should really, I'm not going to, but I should sculpt some teeth on here because it's not enough. That's a lot of teeth. And they're much smaller than they are represented on the box cover. But whatever. I'll probably knock those down a little bit with some brown and then bring them back up to white. I'm doing that right now. Ugh. I think I kind of messed up these the most with this brown. I don't know. Because they're so tiny, you know what I mean? And I'm faking the bulk of them here. Cool. We'll work on the eyes a little bit more. Maybe put some sort of pupil in there. I don't know. Cool. Well, I guess it is after 1, and I do need to I've got things to do today. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Let me see if we can raid somebody, if I have all that up together here. I don't know why am I on the streaming tools page? Hey Bungalow Glow, thanks for joining me. Boy, I don't see this. Oh, in Stream Elements, that would be the reason why. I need to be in Twitch. Boy, this is slow. This is slow. Okay, there we go, we can raid. Maybe somebody will be there. You like Vegas? Vegas is fun. We haven't been in a while. I think we might, when did we go to Vegas last? Could have been 6 years ago. We have Time Roller. Let's go to Time Roller. Down Under We Are So Over. Okay, well, say hello to folks on Twitch. Say hello to Time Roller for me if you will. Go ahead and click on through if you want to raid. Or go on over. Looks like I cannot tell what they're playing, but fantastic. Okay, everybody, take care. Bye. Have a great one. And you YouTube people, thanks for joining me as well. Sorry you can't raid. One of my favorite elements of Twitch is that we can jump on over to another stream. But anyway, you guys take care. Let me see if I can end this and do this correctly. Okay, everybody, thanks again. See you on. Hope to see you on Thursday with Nikki and I, and have a great one. Bye, everybody.